Okay. So, about Silaga Co. So Silaga Co is a company that I founded in 2023, which is established in Australia. We have a few different areas that we focus in, right? So we strive not to be just a recruitment agency, a recruitment company, but we try to be a solution company, right? And a lot of people say solution company, ta ta ta, right? So it's kind of a normal pitch that happens, but what we're trying to do is it's easy to just recruit people, right? We have very, highly trained, highly skilled people who do want to go to Australia or who do want to go to Japan, and it's easy for the introduction to take place. But my kind of motivation for making Silagaco is actually trying to create a foundation or a framework that many people will have access to getting the education to become a skilled aged care worker in their home country. They'll have they'll have people that they can trust and that they can look to when it comes to recruitment, and also they have uh, also providing visa and migration support, right? So basically, we're trying, our main focus is providing these three different streams, right? So the Australian aged care recruitment, implementation of the qualifications needed to work in Australia, and also providing visa and migration support. As I Excuse me. As I mentioned earlier, I'm doing my migration law currently. And what this means is that right now we have partners when it comes to the visa applications, but in the future, our company will be able to provide complete support for visa applications. And this is kind of important because we can have a streamlined process where we know who is educated to what level and who will be suited to what company, and actually making up the documentations to go to Australia can all be done in-house. So I think that is an area that we strive to be, a one-stop solution for anything healthcare recruitment related, aged care recruitment related to Australia. All right. So I think I'll go into more of what's happening in Australia. Why do we focus on the aged care sector in Australia? So oops, sorry. So right. So these are some. I'm just going to give you a few stats about the Australian demographic trends, right? So this is data of 2020, but as of June 30th of 2020, 528,000 people were over 85, and is projected to rise to 1.5 million people in 2058, right? So when we're talking about the age group of 85 and above, right? These are the population that primarily need extensive support. And this in 40 years, right? Australia is going to have tripling of that kind of personnels that need extensive support. Now, this is another stat. As of June 30th, 2020, over 1 in 6 Australians were aged 65 and over, right? So some of you might be adverse to kaigo, like Japanese aged care sector as well. But basically, compared to Japan, which is 1 in 3 adult or persons are over 65, right? 1 in 6 seems very low, and it is low compared to that. But we need to note that Australia is a very, very large country, right? I think if you've seen the global map before, Australia is out there, one continent, one big island, right? But it's a big island, but with a very small population. We've only got about how many? 26 million people, I think, right? As of now. So 26 million people all spread out around Australia, mostly in the coastal areas, but you got a lot of small towns in the middle of Australia as well, right? And it is not easy to move workers and people from place to place, right? So when we're talking about a country like Japan with a very high high rate of aged care personnel of elderly persons, still aged care workers can be moved to different locations quite easily, right? But that is not the case in Australia. So if especially in rural areas, you always need a cohort of workers in a close proximity to be able to provide the care that people need. And that is kind of a growing trend that is happening in Australia. All right, aged care home trends. So this is concerning the aged care homes, not residential care, but actual aged care residents. So by June 30th, 2022, almost 250,000 people aged 65 and over were using aged care home services, right? This has more than doubled from 10 years prior, right? So in 2011, we had about 110,000 personnel using aged care homes, but in 2022, we have about 250,000, right? So at the same time, this is not just an Australia problem. This is a global problem. Japan, China, EU, America, New Zealand, not as much, but starting to grow, is having the same problem. And this is just going to be exacerbated as the time goes by, right? And residential care trends. So residential care is basically when carers go to the homes of the elderly people. All right. So residential care remains a crucial component of aged care in Australia, and it's about with about 185,000 users age 65 and over. Is utilizing this aged care home, a residential care. So not all Australians do prefer to go to aged care homes. They sometimes prefer till the last moments to be at home with their family, with the dog, whatnot. But that is also a growing trend, and we are seeing more of these providers popping up, providing residential care. So, overview of Australian aged care. So, currently we have around 2,672 aged care homes in Australia. Um, this is actually stagnant right now. The reason is because basically for every aged care home, basically you will need a nurse 24/7, right? So, nurses are necessary, workers are necessary, and that is in very short supply. So even though aged care homes are greatly needed and it should be growing, looking at the trends, actually it hasn't grown much in the past few years due to the shortages of these workers. On the other hand, residential care providers are growing rapidly, right? Right now, there's more than 1,000 plus residential care providers providing support to elderly personnel at their home. All right, so this is some stats of aged care sector in 2022. All right, so about the total number of workers in 2022 was about 276,000 personnels, right? The growth rate, this is not year on year. I think this was about every 3 years, 4 years, I think, was about 28%. The weekly salary in Australia is around $1,382, right? So this is if calculate in Australia, usually you get paid weekly. So it's calculated by weekly salary. But if it's calculated monthly, it's about 5,500 Australian dollars monthly, right? The employment rate, this means full benefits employment, so not part-time personnel, is about 32%. So most 70% of the workers in this sector are part-time personnel, right? And I think that can be shown in the female rate, which is 80%, which is probably the case in most countries in this sector. But also the average age. Hello? Oh, it's okay. All right, I'll continue. So the average age is about 47, right? Years of age. So we got a lot of women working in the sector, and we got a lot of elderly women working in the sector, right? And also the employment rate is low. A lot of them are part-time, meaning that the aged care homes and residential care are having a lot of issues when these part-time personnel do not come, or they're not able to fit into the slots that they are needed, right? So another issue when we look at this stat, I think you can tell that because the average age is 47 or 50, close to 50, in about 15 years, a lot of these workers in this sector